Unit 2, Activity 1, Operating System. Introduction. Free software as a definition respects the freedom of the user and the community. Everyone has the freedom to copy, distribute, to study, and improve the software. The freedom to run the program means that any kind of person or organization has the autonomy to use it on any kind of the system, for any kind of the work or purpose without any obligation to communicate it to the developer or any entity. If one uses and adapt a free software program and publicly distribute that adapted version, the distributed version must be as free as the version from which it comes. You must do so, otherwise you were infringing copyright. One of the main advocates of the freedom of software transition is Richard Matthew Stallman, an American programmer and founder of the World Free Software Movement, who is also the inventor of the concept of the copyleft, a method of licensing software such as a way what is it used and modified always remain free and remain in the community.
Recommends Ubuntu Server 20.04. Ubuntu is inherently lightweight operating system capable of running on some pretty today's hardware. Ubuntu the stock edition. Keep in mind that this pertains to physical installs. Virtualizing installs can actually get by with less requirements to get a dual core processor for GIV RAM system memory, 25 GB of hard drive space, VHA capable or 1024 for 716 screen resolution, either a CD, DVD drive or a USB and Internet access. Virtualize Ubuntu the stock edition requirements to get a single core processor, 2 GB RAM system memory, and GB of hard drive space.
Types of partition. What are partitions in Linux? A hard disk can be divided into several partitions. Each partition works if and aware separate hard disks. The idea is that if you only have one disk and you want to have two operating systems on it, you can split the disks into two partitions. This partition system will use it on partition as decided and will not touch the other. This way, two operating systems can coexist peacefully on the same hard disk. Without partition, you would have to buy a hard disk for each operating system. Basic partition. Primary partition. Primary partition are the primary division of a disk and can exist between 1 and 4 primary partitions, or up to 3 primaries and 1 extended partition. The number of partitions is set to NVR boot system. With GPT, we can have almost as many partitions as we want. Extended partition. Extended partition are like containers where we can have a multiply or logical partition. For this reason, they are sometimes referred to as a secondary partition. Logical partition. Logical partition are those partitions that we create inside the extended partition, like primary partition. Logical partition can be used to install Windows and other files.
To talk about file systems for Ubuntu server, we should know that a file system ext4, better known as for extended file system, is a transactional file system from Linux. Ubuntu can read and write disks and partitions that use the familiar FAT32 and NTFS format, but by default it uses a more advanced format called ext4. This format is less likely to lose data in the event of a crash, and it can support large disks or files. As we can see, there are some file systems from different operating systems, as Linux, Windows, MacOS, These are data exchange between operating systems, EXT, high performance file systems, new technology file systems, hierarchical file systems, and Apple file systems.
Process to install Ubuntu Server. Go to the page web and click to install Ubuntu Server. One option for download is using a virtual server. You can install VirtualBox. When installation finishes, open VirtualBox and go to the icon New and write the name of the virtual machine. After that, click Next. Go to the configuration and click on the disk and select Ubuntu Server and click Start. In this section is the configuration of Ubuntu Server in the language and click Edge. In this part, you must write the user password for can use the server. If you want can install as a server, open SSH. If you don't, only click Edge. Click Reiniciar ahora. Login your user and password. Conclusion. We can see the requirements for install a server and which are the elements that need. The same form we learn about the partition, how a form can install Ubuntu server. But in the same way, we learn about virtual machines, how other method. All this help for can understand all the basic concepts that we need about start to use a server, can know all the tools for a correct installation. Thank you.